You say your first and last name and spell that out.
Sure. It's Michael Pearsson, Pearsson.
And what is your position here?
I'm a family practice physician and our chair of quality for Genesis Health Group.
And so you two this morning, you're looking forward to getting the vaccine. What does that mean to you?
Honestly, I think this is the first in a really good fight against COVID that we've been fighting for a while. I'm a history buff, so I'm going to go a little off script. And you know, if you look at human history and any major tragedy, there's always something that's amazing that comes out of it. If you look at World War II, terrible time. The front end of that conflict, there was biplanes. On the back end of it, you had jet aircraft and nuclear power. Amazing stuff. Terrible time, amazing innovation. COVID this past year, and I think all of us have felt this, it's been an awful time. The vaccine, messenger RNA vaccine, I think is going to be that innovation that we see similar to nuclear power from World War II. And hopefully that gets us away from masks. I have really good teeth, so you'd be able to see it if I could get away from COVID. So I think the vaccine is a really good step into getting into that that step afterwards.
Well, you sound pretty knowledgeable about the vaccine. Can you talk a little bit about how it's being processed now and prepared to be used?
Well, it's really cold. That's the first step. But what it's actually doing is it makes a protein that looks like a protein that's on the virus that we're trying to fight. Then your body makes antibodies against that protein. It's actually ingenious, programming your own cells to fight disease. Just like you're giving your iPhone over here a new app to program something, I'm programming your cells to fight disease. So if you think of that innovation, what else could I program my cells in the future to do? Sci-fi type stuff. Could I program the cells to fight cancer cells? They're doing that kind of technology pretty soon. Could I program it to regrow cartilage in knees? Who knows? I would think that that's pretty amazing innovation.
It is, and it's exciting to think of all the possibilities. What will it mean, though, in the next couple of weeks and months as we try to end?
In the next couple of weeks or months, ideally we're going to see some level of herd immunity within the Quad Cities, thinking of it locally, to the point where we see infection rates drop, get those high-risk patients protected so that we can get them back to some sense of normalcy. So you could go see your grandmother in the nursing home who's been locked up for however many months. I think that would be the thing that I would love to see.
Do you have a gauge as to how many doses you have and kind of how many employees will be vaccinated?
I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but my hope would be that we're going to have enough to get all of our Genesis employees, which is right around the 6,000 folks that need to be vaccinated, so that we can continue to care for patients in our community. Hopefully, our government bought a whole bunch.
Would you say that this is a exit ramp from the current pandemic?
I would think if you were going to use that exit ramp strategy, like I'm coming up on mile marker 10 and my exit's mile marker 18. So, I can hold on to my urine a little bit longer till I get to that exit and then find that rest stop. I think that's kind of what I would say we're at right now.
Some medical professionals have been saying, this is going to be part of the history books. How does it feel to be one of the first to get it in the Quad Cities?
I hope, like I said, I'm kind of a history buff myself, so my hope is that I can share that with my grandchildren and say, hey, I lived through the COVID pandemic, and then I got that really ice-cold vaccine, and I didn't turn into a zombie. I'm actually really healthy, and I didn't have COVID. It's really good. So I think I could share that story. And, thinking back to my grandfather telling me stories of living through the Depression and being part of the civilian corps, hopefully I have that same kind of good, fond memory with my grandchildren in the future.